Good afternoon, joining us at today's press conference, which is really looking at sending out an appeal through the national public to our representatives who are members of parliament, otherwise known as National Assembly members, to urgently elevate and prioritize the need to open up an inquiry into the Semlex Saga. As you know, when we sent out the media advisory, we had said that we're going to be joined by two National Assembly members by the names of Honorable Tumanjai of Banjul South and Honorable Madisise of Serekunda West. Unfortunately, they're not here, and we know why they're not here. They're not here not here with us because they are tending to very important issues at the National Assembly that we believe actually complement our efforts move forward. So it is in no way diminishing the importance of this particular press conference. If anything, it's actually strengthening it. And we salute their political will and their willingness from the onset to basically work with us as constituents and also, more importantly, as citizens of the Gambia, to basically try and elevate the culture of transparency, good governance, openness, and probity in this new Gambia. So as a result, it will be myself, Jagan Johnson, and Mr. Sidi Sane, who are actually the founding members, amongst other members, of the Right to Know Coalition, of which we have now 4,500 members. And it is this Right to Know Coalition that is primarily holding this press conference today. The format of the press conference would be, one, me reading the press statement that we'll be distributing after this particular press conference. Thereafter, Mr. Sidi Sane will talk about the actual untenable position of Semlex, as we know it, making the case for an inquiry. And then I will take over and talk about the critical timelines surrounding this Semlex issue. And then Mr. Sidi Sane will take it up from there, starting from 2018, and then we will close it off and then open it up for questions. So without further ado, I'd like to open up this press conference with the statement that we have. I hope that you can all hear me clearly and see me as well. And the press statement reads, parliamentarians and civil society ask legislature to open inquiry into obscure contract awarded to Belgian company. The decision by the Gambia government to award a single source contract to produce national biometric IDs, passports and voters' IDs to Semlex is being questioned by two of Gambia's parliamentarians and the Right to Know Coalition. And we maintain, as we did in our letter to the National Assembly leadership on the 21st of March, 2018 through the clerk, which we have not received a reply. And I quote, that Gambians are eager to know the facts and assumptions on whether due process was followed in awarding our vital social possessions, passports and IDs to an opaque company whose reputation is questionable, end quote. Mr. Eric Van Dijkspich, spelled S-I-J-P-T, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, is the Belgian lead prosecutor, and he has confirmed to the R2K, the Right to Know Coalition Gambia, that there's an ongoing investigation into Semlex activities. Media reports have also stated that there's a criminal probe into Semlex and its operations, and that a case against Semlex CEO over money laundering and other corrupt practices is ongoing. Semlex's computers, files, and other materials have been sealed and confiscated to aid in the investigations. We further maintain that this is a company that Gambia government awarded a contract which was immersed in illegality from the onset. The contract flouted all procurement rules and was initiated and directed by corrupt officials of the Jammeh regime. We are shocked that the current government is now determined to uphold and execute this contract, despite all the evidence of the political exposure and high risk associated with Semlex. We are equally disturbed by the Borough Administration's insistence at entrusting our most precious assets to this company, putting at risk our identification documents, our reputation and integrity of our national identities, and the tools we hold dear as citizens to elect and select who governs us and how we wish to be governed, our voters' cards. We are further perturbed by contradictory public pronouncements uttered by certain ministers and public officials who were involved in the outsourcing of our individual and collective assets, using an avenue of secrecy to scuttle public scrutiny. Atuke Gambia, as a collective of over 4,500 members, will test the vibrancy of our newfound democracy in the New Gambia by sending a message to economic predators and corrupt state officials that the era of state capture, repurposing of state resources for pecuniary gain, flouting of public procurement processes, and disregard for the respect of rule of law and good governance is over. As a result, we make this public appeal to the National Assembly to put a motion forward for an inquiry, pass the motion, and get to work for the integrity and security of the Gambia, as the credibility of the National Assembly depends on it. Elevating a culture of transparency and accountability depends on it, which is why the National Assembly members must start entrenching a practice of probity before it is defeated and overwhelmed by impunity, which threatens our national security. That ends the statement. I will now hand over to Mr. Sidisane to actually give us the intangible position of Semlex. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagan. I would just like to go straight on to look at what we consider to be the untenable position of Semlex. In 2009, Semlex signed a contract with the government of Mozambique, a build, operate, and transfer contract valid for 10 years for the supply of secure solutions for the production of identity cards, travel documents, identification and resident documents for foreigners, and frontier visas. The government terminated the contract after an audit found Semlex in violation of the contract. In August, Semlex said it demanded another audit, which should be carried out by an independent entity, a recognized company with proven technical and professional experience in the area. It says the government turned that proposal down. An investigative report by Reuters revealed how Semlex had wreaked havoc in countries it operated. Reuters reported how Karaziwan, who is the CEO, by the way, of Semlex, struck a deal to supply biometric passports to the Democratic Republic of Congo, for which its citizens have to pay $185 each. Congo previously charged $100 for passports. The current deal arranged for $60 for each passport to go to an obscure Gulf company owned by a close relative of Congo's President Joseph Kabila, according to documents and a source familiar with the arrangements. January 17, 2018, Reuters reported that police on Wednesday searched the headquarters of Belgian company Semlex, which supplies passports for various African countries, and the home of its CEO, Albert Karaziwan. About a dozen officers arrived at Semlex's office in Brussels and at Karaziwan's house in the city early in the morning. By early afternoon, the search was still continuing. The same investigative report stated that earlier this week, which was, I'm making reference now to this January 17, 2018. Earlier that week, authorities in the Comoros Islands, an archipelago off the east coast of Africa, where Semlex has supplied identity documents since 2007, cancelled 170 passports that the government said had been improperly issued to foreigners, including many Iranians. The passports supplied by Semlex had been issued between 2013 and 2016 by a previous government. The current government of the Comoros last week also withdrew a diplomatic passport issued by Karadziwan by a previous administration that had appointed him a roving ambassador. The action by authorities in Belgium and the Comoros follows two Reuters reports examining the activities of Semlex in Africa, where the private Belgian firm has landed contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
I've been told that there's been a sorry for interrupting. I've been told that there's been a technical error, but just to be patient with us. Do we carry on?
Well,
okay. So you want us to stop?
So where do we start?
Okay. Okay. So just let us know when you're ready.